So, here are shower thoughts that everyone asked for, right? Well, at least some people asked for it. But you know what? No one has probably ever asked, "Where are you?" in sign language before. Actually, the phrase, "Where are you?" was probably rarely used until relatively recently. You couldn't really talk to someone unless you were in the same vicinity as them. But wait, don't get too close. 6 feet, remember? We wash our clothes pretty often. Usually only wear things a few times before we throw them in the wash and get them cleaned up. But you know how often we sit on couches and furniture and touch other things that we just never wash? On a similar note, isn't it crazy how we essentially had to have a global pandemic that affected millions of people with a never-before-seen disease just to get everyone to start washing their hands, to grasp the most basic form of hygiene there is? If washing your hands is a new thing to you, then how disgusting has the rest of the world been before this? I miss going out to restaurants, but then I realized the utensils we use have been in the mouths of thousands of other people, and now realizing that so many people weren't washing their hands, I don't know if I miss it anymore. Coronavirus has really changed the world. If you think about it, since we're all wearing masks, we're all probably yawning a lot less since we can't see other people yawning. Actually, a lot less people are probably wearing lipstick too, huh? But the idea of makeup made me think. When an identical twin gets plastic surgery, does the other twin get offended? They're kinda saying you're ugly. They might even get pretty sad, but I just tell them, go to bed, you'll feel better in the morning. That's basically the human version of, did you turn it off and back on again, right? Honestly, I'd just tell them that because when people get sad around me, I don't really know what to do. It's awkward. And speaking of awkward situations, why is it so awkward walking back after you bowl? Just watch. Oh yeah, these are shower thoughts. I actually just bought a cat, like last week. This is him. But while I was thinking of names, I realized that since we name our pets, your pet may have named you too. Actually, if your animal or whatever makes a specific noise whenever you come around them, that's pretty much naming you, right? Your senses are kinda crazy. Your eyes can detect nuclear fusion happening trillions of miles away. We can detect the air pressure changes caused by a paperclip hitting the floor from across the room. And my nose can detect the smallest cat hairs making me sneeze. All day long. But you know, it's fine. I'll just think about something else and move on with my day. But I was wondering, can you really think of nothing? Like actually sit there and try to think of nothing? Thinking of an empty black room? Well, that's still something. You usually can close your eyes and see nothing, but you're actually just looking at the back of your eyelids, and that's still something. So, how do you think of something that by definition is the lack of anything? How can you mentally grasp the idea of nothing? Space, though, is full of mostly nothing, and since we're talking about space, the International Space Station is about 220 miles above the surface of the Earth. But isn't the Earth itself an International Space Station? Or a Universal Space Station, if you will. Or maybe you're one of those people that believe space doesn't exist or something. I don't know, something stupid. You know, the same conspiracy theorists that believe low-quality footage of UFOs are the same people who don't believe HD footage of rocket landings. But there's still so much fake stuff that happens that's still entertaining though, right? So, what's the point in calling it reality TV if almost everyone in the world knows it's fake? We should probably get this fixed ASAP. Now, most people use ASAP to mean as soon as possible, but it could also definitely be as slow as possible, right? That's definitely an unpopular opinion though. But a lot of times, unpopular opinions aren't really unpopular opinions, they're just the least frequently openly talked about ones. I have a popular opinion though, for sure, and it's that I don't think anyone in the world likes being sung happy birthday, and no one really likes singing happy birthday. So, why do we even do it? Also, I hate CAPTCHAs, they're actually so annoying. Why is the robot asking me if I'm not a robot? The great thing about artificial intelligence is that it does exactly what you want it to do. But the bad thing about artificial intelligence is that it does exactly what you want it to do. Technology can be frustrating, especially when it doesn't work the way you want it to. You know, even if phones and other electronics became waterproof, most of us will still probably subconsciously avoid getting anything wet, just out of habit. Water isn't scary, but you know what is? The ocean. All things considered, being scared of deep water is just like being scared of heights, but in water. If you're scared of heights, you probably don't want to live in a high-rise. If elevators hadn't been invented, all the CEOs and important people would probably have their offices on the first floor as a sign of status instead of the highest floor. It's kind of funny. The most massive glass towers in the world are in a way the world's tallest sand castles. They're mostly owned by big businesses. It's weird. If a small business is family owned, people see it as friendly. But if a large company is owned by a family, it smells like corruption. Speaking of family, if you have brothers and sisters, they're just alternate versions of what could have been you. Fun fact, no Amish person has ever been cyberbullied. Alright, anyway, has anyone ever seen a taxi at a gas station before? Because I swear I've never seen one. Maybe I'll see it one day when I'm older. They say life is short, but that phrase usually encourages people to do things that'll probably make their life shorter. Life is confusing. Even your birthday itself can be confusing. Like, if you say you're born on the last day of February, it doesn't actually reveal your birthday if you think about it. Speaking of confusing things, math time. I like math, for some reason, so let me give you a tip that you might not know. Percentages are reversible. For example, 80% of 30 is equal to 30% of 80. 16% of 25 is the same as 25% of 16, or 4. Seriously, just try it out. When you were in school though, you probably wrote with a pencil on paper on a wooden desk. Or in other terms, you used a dead tree to hold a dead tree that you then used another dead tree to write on. Oh, and when you mess up, your erasers sacrifice their lives for your mistakes. Since we're all at home, at least you don't have to wake up early for school anymore. Alarm clocks are one of the only devices that make you angry in both scenarios, whether they work or not. A ton of inventions are only created to increase or prevent laziness. Speaking of laziness, most times we want to go to bed to end the day, but at the same time, we don't want tomorrow to come any quicker. Dying in your sleep sounds preferred by many people, but to me, it's kind of scary. Imagine just slipping away from existence without even knowing it. Sleeping can be kind of hard sometimes though. Some nights I lay there staring at the clock for hours on end. I wonder if there's any times on the clock I haven't seen before. By the way, is blinking the plural of winking? I also have really stupid thoughts before I go to sleep. Like, if animals saw us taking off our clothes, would they think we're shedding our skin? What even are our body parts? Teeth are such a scary and weird concept. There's dozens of bones sticking outside, well, inside of your body. And in order to prevent these bones from decaying, we have to scrub them every day. Your eyeballs won't fall out though, but they also will never actually see each other directly. Hopefully. Even your fingers are weird. Your nails are a window into the flesh of your finger. If you do happen to lose a finger, I have some good news for you. Cutting your fingernails becomes 10% easier. I hope you still have your index finger though. Clicking a computer mouse is literally sending a signal from your brain to your finger, to the computer's finger, to the computer's brain. Roughly a third of all marriages now resulted from online dating. So in a way, that means that computers and algorithms are breeding humans. But hey, shout out to computers. You gave me a job. It can be stressful sometimes, like most jobs, but monitoring incoming nuclear strikes has to be the only job in the world where you're glad it's boring. Oh, and by the way, on May 30th, 2 guys rode a dragon into space on the back of a falcon. I guess that job sounds like a little bit more fun. But you need to be smart to be an astronaut. Something I've noticed is that smart people have poor eyesight. Probably because lower graphics makes your brain run faster. IQ is just FPS. Quick question, do any of these shower thoughts even make sense? Comment your shower thoughts and maybe I'll put them in a video. Or maybe make an entire video with your comments. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you cut the corner off a piece of paper, it gains a corner. A pizza's shape is round, it's delivered in a box, and you cut it into triangles. In the phrase apart, A and part are apart. But when A and part are no longer apart, they become apart. Ah yes, the English language comes in again. If you live to be 70 years old, you spent 10 years on each day of the week. You might die soon, but that's okay. Because each person who has ever lived is still on this planet in some form, and that's pretty cool. Since we're on the topic of death, I was thinking about the butterfly effect the other day, and I realized you could have potentially caused a string of events that has led to someone or multiple people's death. So, does that make most people accessories to murders? Murders are legal. It's a crime, obviously. Taking a dog from its owner is a crime, but taking a dog from its family is fine. you've also never actually experienced the present. By the time your brain processes it, it's gone. And as every second goes on, your risk of dying increases. Now, if you think about it, most sea animals probably don't know that humans exist. So as our risk of dying increases, we could wipe each other out eventually, and the majority of ocean life probably wouldn't even care. With the rate at which we're going, it looks like it could be pretty soon. This video was sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. The Great Courses Plus is an on-demand video learning service that brings you the highest quality content from a group of the smartest people on Earth. The Great Courses Plus has something for everyone, whether you want to learn about the science of rocket launches or the origins of computer programming. Whether it's an Ivy League professor or an expert from various places around the world, they're the best place to go to learn about anything they have to offer. I'd recommend their Introduction to Astrophysics course. You'll see why in a few videos. With over 11,000 video lectures available, there's no doubt that they have something for you. If you want to test it out and see things for yourself, check out thegreatcoursesplus.com/aperture, and you can start watching for free in as little as 10 minutes. If you enjoy it, there's options to subscribe for as little as $15 a month. You'll not only be helping yourself, but you'll also be supporting my channel at the same time.